कर लो, मैं स्टार्ट कर रहा हूँ, आप कैचअप कर लेना कि मैं वेट करूँ, बोलो कर लेने दो, 1 मिनट रुक लो, कर लेने दो, देन वील स्टार्ट। करें जी, ओके चलो guys, good morning, let's get to our work. So sorry for the like couple of minutes delay. Okay, so I am seeing again, as always, every day is like a brand new class. I see only 2 or 3 faces जो मुझे last class से याद रहते हैं, बाकी सब brand new हो जाते हैं. I don't know what is going on, but then it becomes challenging for me to catch up, but that's all right. I think you have been circulated the notes that were there on WhatsApp. I hope you guys have done that. आप मिले थे, तरुण का क्या पे आया नहीं आज, ठीक है, आपने फॉरवर्ड करे थे ना अपने बैच को, ठीक है. सो वील डू द सेम थिंग आफ्टर टुडेज क्लास. वन ऑफ यू जस्ट टेक द नोट्स फ्रॉम मी. आई हैव अ पीडीएफ फाइल, आई विल शेयर इट विद यू. यू गाइस कैन सर्कुलेट इट अमंगस्ट योरसेल्व्स. दैट जस्ट हेल्प्स मी टू कैच अप विद, आई एम नॉट डिस्प्लेइंग एवरीथिंग ऑन द बोर्ड, so it just helps us to catch up. Okay, so today's task is we are going to do 3 topics today. Okay, so these are the 3 things that we'll be doing in today's class. So those of you who are brand new to the class, please excuse my handwriting. This is the best you will get. Rest of you are used to it, so might as well understand it. Okay, so we are going on. So in section A and B, there was a slight mismatch. In section A, I had covered planning to a little bit extent, but in B, we hadn't touched upon it. So section A, guys, sorry, I'll have to recap because we want everybody to be at the same pace. So anyways, I know it was 2 weeks ago when we did planning, and I'm sure किसी को कुछ याद नहीं होगा. It will be complete wipeout, right? So we'll anyways recap it. Okay, so we'll start with planning. So in management, the first thing or the most important thing that a manager does is plan. Sometimes there are companies who are accused of planning too much, not working enough. There are other companies or other individuals who are accused of working too fast without any plans, and therefore the direction of the company suffers or it stagnates. If you plan too much, then you are slowing down. If you are running too fast, then perhaps you will end up stumbling and your company will have a strategic growth problem, at least for a small period of time. Right? So this is why today we want to do these 3 things together, so that we are able to combine them and have the learning with us. So when we talk of planning, what do you guys understand by the term planning? And like always, I want you guys to participate with me in the class, otherwise it is a one-on-one monologue and I don't want that. So what do you guys understand by the term planning? Let me just close this for a moment. Yeah, so what according to you is planning? To decide what has to be done. Okay. What else? Anything else? What else? What else means the word planning for you? So one of the ways could be, let's say we plan to go for a, with a group of friends, we plan to go somewhere. Is that planning? Is that making a plan? That is at a very small level, it is also planning. So what is planning or what is a plan? The first thing that we need to define is a goal. Right? So we want to go with a group of friends for a party. Let's say after this day is over, after the classes are over, you guys want to blow off some steam. It's a Sunday evening. You have some spare time. You guys decide, let's go somewhere. Okay? That's the decision that has been made. That's the goal that has been achieved. From a corporate perspective, what could be those goals? From our example perspective, it is just that we want to go out somewhere in the evening. But from a corporate perspective, what could constitute or what could define the term goal? I could have profit maximization as one of the goals. I could have increasing revenues. I could have increase in sales. I could have increase in market share. I could have adding on new product lines. I could have adding on new markets. So these are some of the organization goals that we are going to plan to achieve. Now, once we've had the goal, uske baad, what is the next thing that comes into the question, which is the preparation. So again, let's stick back to our example. We want to go for a evening with a group of friends. Okay. Now, how are you going to shortlist? So what is the first question that you will have to answer? Decide ho gaya, we want to go somewhere. What is the next question that you will answer or you will ask yourself? कहाँ जाना है? Where to go? So let's say we decide, for example, जैसे हम लोग last class में discuss कर रहे थे, an example of going from this place to Ambience Mall in Gurgaon. Right? We did that example in the classes when we were taking Google Maps as an example, if you guys recollect that, right? ठीक है? So we have decided where to go. Now, what is the next question we are going to do? So we plan, we have a goal, we have a plan, we have steps to do, then we have to also, so we have a choice of doing. How are you going to do that? How are you going to achieve that goal? So our goal is we want to go for a party. We want to go to Ambience Mall. Good morning, beta. Aajo. So we want to go to Ambience Mall. That's the place that we've decided where we are going. How are we going is now we have a choice. Let's say last class example was whether we take the metro or we drive. Variety of reasons and pros and cons behind it. We have the steps. How are we going to execute it? Then comes when are we going to go? Are we going immediately after the class? Are we going to skip a class and go? Creatively manage the attendance and go? Are we going to request one of our friends to show us present in the class and then go? But that requires a little bit of handwriting practice and your signature. But that's all right, it can be managed, right? We have that option and then we go there. Now, after we've been there, right, then what are the issues that we have? So the key point is that now we have to have, now let's say you are a group of 5 friends. How problematic will it be to choose where to go and how to go? Is that going to be a simple process? Where one of you will decide, ठीक है हम यहाँ जा रहे हैं and the other 4 will follow. Will that happen? Maybe, maybe not. That's the ideal situation. But in reality, it won't happen. There will be a lot of convincing that will be required. There will be a lot of negotiation that will happen. And then we'll end up deciding where we are and where we are going. Now, as a result of that, one of the biggest problems with planning from a corporate perspective is getting everybody to agree with you. So now, for example, I am a corporate, I am the owner of the company, I am the CEO or I am the manager of that particular business unit, and my boss tells me that you have to increase revenue. Okay, he's given me a goal, increase the revenue. Now, what are the ways through which I can increase my revenue? Revenue is basically earning per unit sold. ठीक है ना? So इसी में आपको 2 options मिल गए ना? How do I increase my revenue? I could increase the price, keeping the number of units sold constant or even if they go down. I can play around with price and what else can I play around with? Quantity. Now, in order to increase or decrease all of this, I have to then work backwards. If I want to increase the quantity, I may have to go with advertising, sales promotions, what we call them. I will have to improve the manufacturing process of my company so that I can manufacture those number of products which I'm going to sell. I can also look at, I will have to also look at my HR. How will HR come into the picture? If I have to increase the number of quantity or the number of units being sold, marketing आ गया, operations आ गया, supply chain आ गया, manufacturing आ गया. HR कहाँ से आया बीच में? For example, आप अगर अभी देखें, for example, let's say we have one teacher short. So what we'll do, we'll say batch A and B sit together. If we have extra teachers, we'll say, okay, we are dividing into a greater number of batches. So my production quantity has also a linkage to my employee strength. And that is where the term HR comes. So planning को जब हम कह रहे हैं, when we say planning is something which happens at the level of the top guys, the CEO and the COO and the CFO and those guys do the planning. But every step that you're doing, Now, since you guys don't have work hacks, for example, let's say we have an employee who is, let's say there's a bank and they need to scout for more customer accounts. So आपको बैंक वाले आपके पास आएंगे और आपको बोलेंगे सर या मैम प्लीज आप अकाउंट खोल लीजिए, राइट? दैट्स द plan. So the bank has decided I need to increase my revenue. This is how planning flows. So it flows like this. It flows in an inverse pyramid. So I say I need to increase my revenue. Then I decide the part where I'm going to increase, whether it's going to be the price or the quantity. Then I'll see who are my customers, and then I see how I'm going to. I'm sorry, there's some problem with the board, so you can't see it. It's acquire them. And then as a salesperson, my boss gives me a target. MBO हमने पहले discuss किया था, which is management by objectives. And in this, my boss says every branch, let's say the company says we have a target of 1 million accounts, and they have 10,000 branches, or 1 lakh accounts and 10,000 branches. कितना हुआ? Every branch has to get 10 accounts, for example. ठीक है ना? Now the manager of the branch tells his employees, go get 10 accounts. And उसमें 5 employee हैं. Every employee's task is to get 2 accounts. ठीक है? यहाँ तक clear है सबको? That is the top-down approach of management that we are going to follow very simply. Now in this approach, the company says, go get accounts. The manager says, go get accounts. But किसी ने अभी मुझे ये बताया कहाँ से लाना है? Who to get, who to target, where do I set up my shop? I'm sure you would have gone to malls and seen वहाँ पे SBI वाले अपना एक stall लगा के बैठे होते हैं and they are selling SBI के credit cards to you. Byju's also used to do it at certain point of time. Metro station पे, I've been to a couple of times. I've seen them in malls, metro stations. I've seen them trying to pitch their products to you. Where to hold that marketing activity? Now let's say I have a product which appeals to the Gen Z, you guys, अब Gen Z हो, Gen Y हो, millennials हो, new millennials हो, पता नहीं बहुत सारी marketing terminology. I'm not getting into the chaos of it. You are one group of people. Let's say I want to sell to college-going students. Where should I set up my stall? I could do it in North Campus. Should I do it in Kashmiri Gate Metro Station? I could. You guys pass through it. I could do it in Rajiv Chowk also. But what is the problem with that plan? I will have marketing challenges. So the point of the plan is you have to see that what this part is, it has to go back and link to what is our goal, who is my target audience, how do I achieve it. So these are some of the basics of planning that we will look at when we talk of the word plan. So let's go ahead then. This is clear so far, I think. Okay, chalo. So now the question comes, why do we need to plan at all? Why not just simply get up, do your work, go open your shop. You have a particular product mix which you have already decided. Open your shop and the assumption is the customers are going to come. ये किसके केस में valid है? This kind of a thought process. जैसे एक होता है ना कि we just simply, why do we need to plan? Why not just simply get up, open your shop and just expect customers to walk in? So risk, why do we need to plan? We need to plan to minimize our risk. Because business is dynamic, again, things keep changing. So for example, let's say I am a shop which sells clothes. I am located in Kamla Nagar. I have a decent business. College going crowd is my target audience. They come. COVID नहीं है. COVID को हम ignore करते हैं. It's normal business practices. I open my shop. The students come. They buy. मैंने थोड़ी सी sales promotions कर दी जुलाई में जब first year आता है. एक मैंने sales promotion कर दी जनवरी में जब second semester के लिए बच्चे आते हैं. Everybody is fine. वहां तक ठीक है. But यहाँ पे क्या प्रॉब्लम हो रही है? मेरे को प्लान कहाँ पे चाहिए यहाँ? वही तो प्लानिंग है ना, वही तो डायनामिसिटी है ना. The business has its particular dynamics. They have their own challenges. They have their own needs. So I need to plan to minimize